معكم تاني. On behalf of Yaqub Group, أنا ندى صالح عبد الرحمن Yaqub, I would like to express our satisfaction and pride to see such a remarkable group of people and companies coming from different professionals to join us here today. We would like to thank you all for accepting our invitation and for your time of joining us today. Now we can all not deny the poverty, unemployment, education, health, and all the developing countries' issues that we are facing here in Sudan. It's a fact, we cannot deny it. Today, we all come together with the same understanding that supporting development is not charity, but it can be one of the smartest investments we can make in our own future. The purpose of development is to break the cycle of dependence by helping people become more self-sufficient, not just giving people food, but teach them how to fish to get their own food. The only way we can truly create a lasting impact is by working all of us together towards shared goals. Now, the United Nations launched the 17 developing goals, or the SDGs. Some of you might be familiar with the SDGs, some of you are not familiar. This event today is to educate all of us. What are these SDGs and how can we all together participate into achieving these goals? The goal of the UN is to leave no one behind by the year 2030. عشان كده we have to start today and we have to all start together. You can see the flyers on the tables which show you all the SDGs, 17 SDGs. This SDG 17 is the public partnership, private-public partnership, or PPP. It brings together government and businesses to address the challenges of the global community. We at Yaqub Group believe in sustainable development. Some of you might know our investments in Darfur, in Al-Da'an. We believe that if we all work together and do little, we can have a better world. And it has been truly proven. When we went to Al-Da'an, it has been proven. Lives have improved, sustainability have been achieved. Much change has been deployed there. So we truly believe that a big change took place. Now, today we are especially grateful to have amongst us the World Association for Sustainable Development, WASD. WASD is a global association that brings in together experts from across the world to discuss issues relating to sustainable development, science and technology management. The time and effort and resource that has been exerted by this association in promoting sustainability and mobilizing research in the science for developing countries is inimitable. We really appreciate that we have them here today, and we hope for all of you to have a fruitful event and a very knowledgeable one. With this, I give the floor to Prof. Allam Ahmed. He is the president of WASD. Welcome to Sudan, Prof. Allam, and welcome abroad.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. شكرا يا هذا شكرا. I'm very pleased very grateful to Yaqub Group for hosting this event. We always look for a partner who can actually be in line with what we do. We believe in everything just been said, and I'm grateful and I'm very pleased to see that companies like Yaqub Group is actually in line with what the United Nations is trying to do. I will talk very quickly for the time, and the more important people, useful for you to listen to them. This is our 17th international conference. We have started in 1999, and when we started in 1999, it was a group of academics. I was in Edinburgh and others, and at that time, we realized as academics at that time, most people talking about sustainable development with a very narrow thinking, which is just the environment. And we started from 1999 at the University of Karachi. It was the United Kingdom Science and Technology Forum. We read the issue, we should really consider sustainable development from a multidisciplinary approach. We have campaigned for this for nearly 20 years. Now everyone is taking our model, if you like, more seriously. You can't solve sustainable development without everyone working in the same platform. So you need education, you need political science, you need governments, you need youth, women, you need NGOs, you need technology companies, all of them. if you can't get them all together in one, if you like, room, you cannot achieve sustainable development. And one example, plastic bags, which is a major problem across all Europe and all the whole world. The best way to tackle plastic bag, people throwing plastic bag, is by educating them not to throw it. As simple as that. Now in the UK, they charge them 5 pence. It doesn't matter. 5 pence is like, I don't know, £1. So people will still buy them. So I'm going to go quickly why we're doing this. So where we are, if we go back, so this is a conference this is us. We work in partnership with many organizations. If you see here, this is just a sample of them. I'm very interested, you can see some of them are academics, universities. We work with the United Nations Children and Youth. We have a very serious, if you like, projects considering and empowering women and the youth, so we're working with them. We're working with the colleges like the Royal Agricultural University. Our main partner at the United Nations is the Joint Inspection Unit, which is based in Geneva. And we also work with UNICEF, we work with the United Nations Environment Programme, and so on. These samples at the bottom, I selected them to reflect the global reach. For example, on the right-hand side corner, you can see the Emirates Women Police Association. I didn't know until they came to us in London, there are 13,000 women police officers in Emirates. And when they came to London, they said they want to be trained on leadership and knowledge management. So it's a complete change of mindset in the Arab countries. Women police officers, their top priority to be trained, leadership and knowledge management. On the right, left, here, the next one on the left half, this is the government of St. Lucia. And St. Lucia is a Caribbean country. And I remember when we went to St. Lucia, the plane from London about to land in St. Lucia, they said that Hurricane Thomas, I remember in 2010, we cannot land. You know where Bermuda, whatever, Bermuda or Mashakil di. I start to believe there might be something going on down there. So we have to be moved back. So we have been to all these countries, so we understood clearly what is going across the whole world. There is a water shortage in Australia. Many people, they said, Australia? I said yes. When we went to Australia in 2007, they told us you have to make your shower 5 minutes because we don't have much water. In the UK, in Gloucester area, when Gordon Brown was the Prime Minister, people were out of electricity and water for 3 days. So the problems you face in Sudan or in Africa are global. In a sense, all people are facing the same thing. So we work in partnership. This picture from our conference in the last one in Geneva, and we were very pleased. The United Nations keeps selecting us to continue our joint, if you like, efforts together. Last year, we had this in Geneva. This is just a selection of some of the outcomes from the conference. And the UN is very strongly now advocating and pushing the agenda on incorporating and including and promoting and encouraging the private sector to take part in achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. So the UN now, they are pushing quite, if you like, heavily to encourage and motivate and mobilize the efforts of the private sector to take part in the Sustainable Development Agenda. So we had that one last year, and we are very pleased to go to Kenya, this on the 10th of June, for our 17th International Conference. Our partner is the United Nations Environment Programme. And we all look forward. I said to His Excellency, the Ambassador, I'm not just going there for the conference, but I'm really looking forward to go to a nice country. I have heard so much about what is going on there. So it's a nice country, and I'm sure the Ambassador will talk better than me. So if we just give you a quick idea, it's going to be 2 conferences together. One of them is the 17th International Conference, jointly with UNIP. And the other one is also jointly. This is the 6th Diaspora International Conference. One of our projects we started in 2008 with UNESCO was we argued with UNESCO that so many people like me, call them diaspora, who is originally Sudanese or Kenyan or Caribbean, who it happened to end up living in UK or the Netherlands or whatever it is. But those people, we said to them, they have proven themselves in the other countries. I am a dual national. I'm a British and Sudanese. They are Nigerians, British, they are St. Lucian, Canadian, whatever it is. We said to them, those might be the right people to transfer technology back home because they know the culture. And I said that, some people joked, but then the lady from the World Bank in Bahrain said to me, Alam, you're right. I said to them, for those my colleagues who have never been to Africa, they don't know sometimes you click on a PDF and then you go to the toilet or maybe go and take a coffee and come back, it's still not been downloaded. And then the lady from the World Bank said to me, Adam, you're right. I was in Africa and I had serious problem downloading a PDF file. That doesn't happen in. So our argument is that the diaspora should be a very good vehicle for transferring knowledge and technology and helping countries because they know the culture. And this movement has received lots of, if you like, acknowledgement, and it was cited by the UN in Geneva last year as one of the best efforts by diaspora, not for political reasons. And he mentioned clearly, he said, I'm very pleased to see Sudanese from 5 continents. They are here not for any political reasons. They are here just to help their country to develop. So we are very pleased with this project, and now it became a joint conference every year. So we had it last year in Geneva. Also, those who are interested in migration and the role of diaspora, technology transfer, also there's a conference going at the same time. It's just we make them now jointly organized together for logistic reasons. So those who are traveling now, they can see both conferences. So I invite you all to consider coming to Geneva. This is the title of the conference between us and the UN is Making Science, Innovation, and Research Work for Sustainable Development Goals. And this is where you start learning from your partner. At the university, we call it Science, Technology, and Innovation. The people from the United Nations Environment Program, they said, no, science, technology, and research. And we said, fine, science, technology, and research. But the conference really, the theme of the conference is going to focus on the following. Is strengthening the role of science, innovation, and research uptake in service of the 2030 agenda for sustainable development. The conference will critically examine the importance role of science, innovation, and research for the achievement of the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And our colleague from the UNDP, they will talk better than me shortly, but I think this flyer is very nice, the Arabic and English one, of the 2030 agenda, and to provoke forward thinking on the role of science, innovation, and research in solving global problems relating to sustainability. Now, the second thing, the UN, for its 52 years in history, this is the first time the United Nations have executed a survey across the whole world. Now the draft is under the, it will be published in February. This survey, the first time in the history of the United Nations, they have conducted this survey to find out that there is lots of publications and stuff like this done by the United Nations. Are they being used or not? I know it's a big question. Many people, they don't know. There's so much of material available free of charge, but people, they don't use it. They also want to find out how the UN itself, UNICEF, FAO, all the UN 28 agencies, how these UN agencies are actually conducting research. Because the UN, they conduct research and then they use it for, so this is the first time they have conducted this research. And I was very pleased. WAST, there are only 4 international organizations being involved. One of them is UNESCO chairs, and the second one was WAST. The report as a draft is being published, but officially it will be available in February, which is next month. So this is what we're going to do. The focus has been from last year on the goal number 17, the partnership, because the whole world is changing now. This whole world is moved or went through 3 revolutions. One of them is, if you remember, industrialization, then information, and then globalizations. And globalizations bring people together. People are no longer can work separately or in isolation. If you have seen the New Year Eve in Emirates, the whole theme was tolerance. So people now across the world are talking about things which bring people together. They're talking about partnership. You can't do it yourself. And the argument we have been arguing for many years, if other people are doing it better, why don't you just learn from them or take it from them? So there is lots of argument about food security, self-sufficiency, and so on and so on. So this partnership is quite a big stuff here, but just quickly 4 points. Both United Nations Environment and WAST are inspired by the conviction to 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the 17 goals that provide clear roadmap for shaping and ensuring a prosperous future for all. And if you know, before the Sustainable Development Goal, there was the Millennium Development Goals. And I remember when the Millennium Development Goals came out in 2000, we have published 4 or 5 publications, and we presented. And at that time, when we examined all Africa, we found at the time Kofi Annan launched the Millennium Development Goals, none of the African countries was actually going to achieve any of the Millennium Development Goals. It took the British government 8 years to declare that. When Gordon Brown said, we finally realized none of the Millennium Development Goals is going to be achieved by Africa. We said to them, we did that like 5 years, Prime Minister. You should have listened to us 5 years ago. So then now we have the Sustainable Development Goal. The Sustainable Development Goal includes other things. One of them, disability. The Millennium Development Goal, they were not really giving much attention and considerations to the people with disability, but the Sustainable Development Goals did. One of the criticism now, even just now for the Sustainable Development Goals, some of the targets are quite elusive. The word used, substantial increase. Substantial is an elusive word. How much is substantial? You want me to increase this by a substantial amount. So there's lots of talk, but at least we think they are good stuff. If you go back, sorry. The second one, more engagement of the private sector in the implementation of the agenda. And number 3, deep embedding of the UN values and objectives in the business models of private companies. Advances for CSR, corporate social responsibility, and direct contribution to the realization of the SDGs. And number 4, expansion for for-profit entities activities in areas which were usually addressed by public entities. So it's more of a public-private partner working together. Now, quickly, what is the benefit for the private sector and others if you go to Kenya on the 10th of June? There are several of them, but I will just mention, some of them are mentioned in your leaflet. Showcase your past, present, and future projects. So for companies like Saleh, I hope they've already been involved in this kind of project. But even if you haven't done public-private partnership, it's also an opportunity to show it to the whole world. If you go back to our website, what happened in Geneva in April is available all over the world, in videos, documented by all means, not just written, but also videos and so on. Number 2, you will present your company through a prestigious platform as a champions of UN SDGs, find new clients from across the world, and I always say to Sudanese businesses, why are you always thinking across this border? Why you don't think like other companies, which they always seek to go abroad? You have great product, you have great output. Why not you consider, why are you always thinking of Sudan? And I remember when we were teaching students in the classroom, we said to them, the volume of the international trade in 2010, 50% is in the OECD's countries. People, they said yes. I said to them, yes. Half of the world trade in 2010 is happening in 10 countries. Europeans, Canada, and so on, the OECD's countries. So there is lots of trade outside. Why not you explore this market? Thirdly, find new clients from across the world, build relationship with decision makers, meet many UN officials, ministers, and leading individuals and institutions. Last year, I think 4 undersecretaries attended, 3 director of international organizations like the labor, like the international trade, and so on, they were there. Enhance your company profile in the internal market. Network directly with key ministers and government officials with the BBB sectors across the world. Now, one of the quick one to mention to you, we have been publishing this from 2000, and it's become very popular, and we are very proud of it. And I always say this, it's not just because we have said to people should work together, public health, engineering, finance, all of them. We had to prove it to people, how we can bring them together in one publication. This is one of the few publications across the world where you can find everything. Public health together with law. I have people telling me, Alam, I have never been in a room in a conference. I am a lawyer, I'm a professor of law, sitting with someone presenting about public health. They never meet together easily. Engineering with economics and so on. So we have been publishing this. The last one is the one in front of you. And then that one was in Bahrain. That one was in the UK. That was in Turkey, Canada, London, Abu Dhabi, US, Atlantic City, San Lucia. And we travel because we need to see people. And this book is now available, very proudly, I can say that, everywhere. You just click on any university you know. Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge. Every university, this book is there. And we are very proud. Sometimes I stretch my muscle in front of my colleague. I say, my book is all over the world. Where is your book? So, but it's not a matter of that. It's not my book. This is a book which brings people from all over the world. So this will be also the opportunity. And now we're encouraging private sector to also write articles and include them, and we did that. Lastly, there is a leaflet in front of you, but it took us quite a long discussion with the United Nations last year to get to the point to understand how the United Nations accept people to sponsor their activities. And the document they have is 28 pages. So much of restriction. Even if you give them all the money, they will not take it. And we had to go to Geneva and understand, because we said to them, WAST is a non-profit, but to bring money, the money we use it to make these things available for people to download free of charge. The money we use it to record videos. This video production is very expensive. To record an event like this might cost £10,000 sometimes, because it takes time and hours to do record. We need to bring this money because we will fly people from developing countries who normally cannot attend these conferences. And last year, just from Sudan, we have 4 or 5 people from Sudan. And we have been very successful to bring people from Bangladesh, from Nepal, from Brazil, from South Africa, Nigeria, Egypt, and so on and so forth. So any sponsorship you will consider, the final say will be to the United Nations, not to us, because they have a final check on the company. Because the United Nations is a member organization, and those from the UN, they know it better. I don't work for the UN. But there is a big opportunity for you to be, there is much we can do. We managed to agree with our colleagues in Kenya to give us a space for showcasing your products or whatever it is. In Geneva, they said companies can bring anything to showcase, but as long as it is doing something with the Sustainable Development Goals. So you can promote your products, yes, but it has to be something relating to the SDGs. So we can talk to you. There is a leaflet here. You can contact us. I'm not going to go through them, but there is lots of benefit from considering this. We're also going to publish something called Sustainability Directory 2019, where we will include submission from companies which are actually doing things to do with sustainability. We're not going to publish anyone here, but anyone who is involved. So these are all available on the website. This is the final quote. We have it from the last 2 years. I think we all need to think together. We need to work together because we are a global citizen. And we really are not living in isolation. And the best example for how we all should be considering ourselves as global citizens, you remember SARS, that virus is spread all over the world. The only way to stop it if people have worked together as a global citizen. Because the virus keeps changing its mutation and DNA. So if the scientists are working hard to find any, if you like, drug for it, it changes itself. And I'm traveling tonight, so if I have it here, I might take it to London, then it will affect some people. The only way is for all of them to work at the same time for global good, so they can actually produce something to stop all the version. So this is the last one, and I will finish. I think we have the final slide. Many people will talk about this, but I want to show you the video where you can see the UN Habitat, our partners, inviting you, and thank you very much. I stop here. Thank you very much.
Following the successful international conference on public-private partnerships for the implementation of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, which was held last year in Geneva in partnership with the World Association on Sustainable Development and the Joint Inspection Unit of the United Nations, I am pleased to inform you that in June from 9 to 12, 2019, next year here in Nairobi, we will be organizing the 17th International Conference of the World Association for Sustainable Development in partnership now with the UN Environment Programme, which this year will address the issues of making science, innovation and research work for the implementation of the Sustainable Development Goals. The aim of this conference is going to be a strong focus on scaling up innovations for sustainable development and identifying those key factors that make science, research, technology play in this era of rapid technological change in the advantage of the Sustainable Development Goals. We are convinced that there are a number of innovative solutions that can be identified and scaled out for supporting implementation of the global goals. Let me share an example with you. For example, in the case of Kenya, the country that hosts the United Nations Environment Programme, digital inclusion, financial inclusion has gone from 4% to 90% of the population of this country. And that is thanks to the development of affordable technologies. Another example in which the United Nations has been inspired to is the case of the World Food Programme, who has used blockchain technology to help Syrian refugees receive payments and reduce transaction costs. The United Nations has to come together and identify solutions that serve in this new current landscape of rapid technological change. We are deeply inspired by the creation of a United Nations Commission on the area of blockchain. And we want to come together here in Nairobi to discuss solutions and how can other United Nations agencies, with the support of the private sector, with the support also of civil society organizations, come together and scale up solutions. Let me tell you what, as a participant, you can expect by coming here in Nairobi for this international conference. Well, first of all, you can take advantage of being close to the customers that the United Nations serve. You can meet agents, principals, and activists from their communities working out very close to where the Sustainable Development Goals will make an impact, a make or a break. You will be able to interact with decision makers of Africa, Latin America, and Europe, and also Asia Pacific. And also you will be able to find connections, build up your contacts with the United Nations agencies that are hosted here in Kenya. We have not only 2 agencies headquartered, United Nations Environment Program, the United Nations Human Settlement Programs that deals with cities, but also most of the agencies that deal on operational issues and are working every day on the ground to make this a better place for all. In conclusion, on behalf of the United Nations Environment Program, I am happy to invite you and to ask you to save the date of 10 to 12 June 2019 to come here to Nairobi and be part of the 17th World Association for Sustainable Development Conference, which will focus on making science, innovation, and research work for the Sustainable Development Goals.
One thing I forget, on the 19th of March, we have been approached and invited, and we have accepted the invitation to join the Tunisian government on the 19th, 2021 in Tunisia, in Tobruk. The Tunisian government is taking a new approach, all based on smart development. And by smart, they said they want to listen to have experience from companies, public sector, private sector, about how they can develop Tunisia. And they're taking that region as a pilot study. So again, I forget that also we are involved in this 19 to 21 in Tunisia. If anyone would like to consider this, please contact us. Everything in the website, but this is very important conference from the Middle Eastern and North African perspective. It's called Smart Dev 2000, and thank you very much. Wish you the best.
So please remember, if we all help and do a little bit, it will make a big difference.